The reason why the other players in the league hate Ilya so much is because they can sense his autonomy and they resent it. Ilya in many ways embodies the Achilles archetype. In Greek mythology, Achilles is a demigod who has a mortal father and a goddess mother. Like Achilles, Ilya exists in this permanent isolation of being too human for the gods and too godlike for humans. And it's his mother's devotion and attention towards him as a child that gives him this godlike essence. When you read The Long Game, especially in his conversations with his therapist, he talks about how his love for hockey is inseparable from his mother's loving gaze. He enjoyed playing hockey because his mother enjoyed watching him play hockey. And so her attention created a space where his joy did not require performance or external validation. This is why when Shane meets Ilya for the first time, he basically tells Ilya, "You are a very interesting player to watch." In The Long Game, Troy Barrett says the same thing. Ilya is interesting to watch because he looks like he's having fun. And when he wins that Stanley Cup, you can see the devotion in his eyes when he's raising that cup and screaming, "This is for you, mama." This is why his mother's attention is so powerful, because it allows him to carry that legacy of her love through hockey. She's literally his only source of validation growing up, and when she dies, he's left to the devices of his father and brother, who definitely are not validating him in any way, shape, or form. Because she died young, Ilya never learns that she's a human being with limits. And so as a child, he internalizes her as this great mother archetype. She literally becomes a goddess in his unconscious mind. And so throughout his life, he's living off her imagined validation, which grants him this demigod-like self-sufficiency. But it's at a cost. He learns to live without the approval of men, but yet he secretly longs to be recognized by his father. So there's this tension between refusing to seek validation and also secretly needing it. And this tension fuels his abrasiveness towards the other male players. With his arrogance and his abrasiveness towards the other players, it's like he's basically saying, "Fuck you. I do not need your validation. I'm still going to dominate this sport with or without your approval." And Shane comes along and everything changes. This takes me to the forehead kiss in episode 2. After their second night together, when Shane kisses Ilya on the forehead, that gesture is neither sexual nor performative. It is in the most earnest Shane Hollander way of him saying thank you. Like they're rivals, okay? That moment could have easily been a humiliation ritual, an opportunity for him to show dominance. But Ilya chose that moment to give Shane a very beautiful, compassionate experience. And that forehead kiss was an affirmation. It was an affirmation of Ilya's kindness and compassion. And that destabilizes Ilya. And you can see it in his face when he's like, "This felt really good. I'm not supposed to need this." To be seen as gentle and compassionate by a man threatens the identity that Ilya has built around endurance and emotional isolation. It is the feminine aspect of Ilya's psyche that Shane is affirming. In Jungian psychology, the feminine aspect of a man's psyche is called the anima. The anima governs emotional attunement, relational depth, and intuition. It is the anima that allows Ilya to approach Shane's submission not as a thing to conquer, but as something to hold with reverence. And as you watch through the episodes, the more time he spends with Shane, the more comfortable he gets with expressing his feminine psyche. All of a sudden, he's cooking. He's making them tuna melts. He's showing emotional attunement. He's stroking Shane's hair. He's cuddling after sex. In episode 5, he's playing with kids. And Shane is around to witness that. In the book, Ilya has a bear tattoo on his chest. And he plays for the Boston Bears. Shane activates Papa Bear. Ilya is Papa Bear. The symbolism is hard to ignore. And this is why during the love confession scene in episode 5, Ilya expresses his ambivalence towards his father, because not only did he detest this man, he also secretly longed for his approval. He wanted his father to recognize this part of him, the kind, compassionate, sweet, gentle boy. Before the dementia, Ilya's father was cruel and unkind and didn't have a nice thing to say about Ilya. Then when his father is reduced to this infantile state due to dementia, he becomes easier to talk to. And it makes sense that Ilya feels this tremendous loss and regret in not being able to take care of his father in those days, because there's a part of him that longed for his father to see him and recognize this part of him while he was in that vulnerable state. It was his final chance of being able to receive the validation that he always craved from his father.